Greetings, my friend. Fancy meeting you all the way out here. Say, have you met with another high elf around here? Heavy armor, sour disposition. I hired her as an escort for my expedition, and unfortunately, I cannot start without her. Hardly a surprise, given her demeanor last we spoke. Still, it's hard to get someone to agree to escort you into Ebon Stadmont. From what I heard, the forest appears to shift as you move through it. Makes it a bit tricky to navigate. Well, I found research of an ancient temple, somewhere in this very forest. I've come to study what secrets it may have, but I don't think it wise to go it alone. Say, would you be willing to escort me? I must say, I do pay well. Thank you for accepting my offer. I'm quite excited to be heading my own expedition. Tellinger may have a great mind, but sometimes he's a bit much. It's nice to finally be able to break free from being just his assistant. Oh no, of course not. The Mages Guild still requires me to accompany him on his expeditions. I've just taken a short sabbatical is all. As soon as I finish my research here, I'm sure I'll be off on more hair-raising adventures. Well, being Telliger's assistant is informative in many ways, but I think now's the time to prove to the Mages Guild, and to myself, that I can strike out on my own. The ruins within Ebon Stadmont are ancient, perhaps even built in the Merethic era. They contain inscriptions of a mysterious language, which only a few have begun to translate. I believe it's old, even for a High Elf's perspective. I found translations of only a few phrases, and even those are sparse. An interesting topic for a linguist, perhaps, but for me it's only the means to an end. The temple is all I wish to investigate. As I said before, this forest is tricky to navigate. The pathways twist and shift as you walk through it. That's why the temple hasn't been explored previously. Following these inscriptions should lead us to the temple. Not much. Even though one can see the temple through the trees, the forest has made all research near impossible. It most likely was a place of worship, now abandoned. For some reason, the nature of this forest doesn't allow travelers to simply walk to the temple we seek. Someone must have used magic to accomplish this. Thank you for accepting. We're looking for inscriptions. Alert me once you see any gibberish carved into stone. Yes, this is exactly what we're looking for. Why, it's almost as if I can hear the words. Sel Ra Ang Yond. Eastern Temple? Daedra? I don't have time for distractions. Could you hold them off while I finish translating? The inscription indicates that the temple is further out. separated. I was just behind you. I swear I was walking in the opposite direction. Well, let's carry on.
Не, ну на самом деле неплохо было бы порыбачить.
Oh, hello. How did we end up back here? Let's try this again. True. I've been studying. These transcriptions are the only way we're getting through this twisted forest. Defend me while I translate them. You'll want to keep close. The pathways in this forest seem to be curious. Should I perhaps be insulted? You're right, though. Even with my previous research, I shouldn't be able to pick up a language this complex so quickly. A dark voice. Perhaps a woman's? It's foggy, though like a memory or a dream. This language must have magical properties. I'll just have to remain sharp, that's all. Make sure it doesn't muddle my mind. I can do little but speculate, but I believe this twisting pathway is somehow protecting the temple. Only by reading the inscriptions were we able to make it this far. You'll want to keep close.
Hurrah, Volisto, the past revealed.
Take care of that thing before it takes care of us. stars. I think he's coming too. Let's hear what this Mer has to say. Perhaps he'll...
Am I really an Aetherius? I didn't know they let your kind in here. We of the House of Reveries have no names, only masks. But you can call me Fletch, because I specialize in the art. Eben Stadmont... I'm sorry, but I just don't remember. I must have come here with my traveling troupe, though. I wouldn't have left Relenthal without them. Someone must have ambushed me. A ferocious someone, given my state. Daedra? Mara's elbow, that doesn't sound good. Could you help me find my troop leader? Forte! Is that you?
Fletch, what's happened? The whole troop is looking for you.
Grand Maestro Forte? Why, I had no idea you were an Eben Stadmont.
Grand? Oh no, I'm simply Maestro Forte. Hardly worthy of the title Grand yet.
Grand Maestro Forte's here as well? Why...
It appears you've saved Fletch from the brink of death. It brings to mind the story of Temerian, who of course was saved by the Nereids of... but now is not the time for such tales. Tell me, what has happened? Daedra? I had no idea. Our watch did report some strange creatures prowling about at night, but I've heard of no other attacks. Something must be attracting them here. The only thing of note I discovered within the temple is a glowing stone in its main chamber. I've yet to translate the stone's inscription, but it may be attracting Daedra to it. I found a similar stone. Excellent. Why don't you and your companion head to the stone? Just follow the path north. I'll escort Fletch to our camp and make sure he's seen to. We'll...
This is all so strange. I know this is strange, but let's get to this stone. Perhaps it can answer some questions. The House of Reveries? In Eben Stadmont? Why wouldn't I have heard about that? This is all so strange. I just need a...
Lenka, fall away. Future's door.
Did you hear it too? That woman's voice? At first I thought I was imagining it. Future's Door. A House of Reveries expedition I've never heard of. Grand Maestro Forte rebuffing his proper title. And the temple room where we found... It means we ventured somewhere we never should have gone. The past. I know it seems far-fetched, but remember that stone we first activated? I thought the inscription referenced... That's my theory, and I'd rather not explore further to find out. Affecting the past has far-reaching consequences. It makes me wonder what trouble we've already caused. But this stone's inscription... I can't be sure, in all honesty, but we have to try. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in the past. This stone should lead us back to our natural time. All you need to do is keep that destination clearly in your mind. I'll follow right back. It is quite intriguing. Grand Maestro Forte is the head of Somerset's greatest acting troupe, the House of Reveries. But I've also heard tale that The research I've been using to help translate the language here came from an expedition that occurred around this time. Perhaps Maestro Forte wrote the very notes that led me here. Well, Fletch was very close to death, and I recall seeing bones in our present time, right where I found him injured. Most likely he was supposed to die. As I said earlier, changing the past has far-reaching consequences. For all I know, healing Fletch could have dire consequences to our present. I would have had to weigh his life against the potential... I've been hearing this voice since I first started translating these inscriptions. It must be some sort of magic, connected to the inscriptions. Perhaps connected to the language itself, come to think of it. Oh, it is rather odd for a mysterious language to speak to anyone who reads it. The misdirecting nature of Ebon Stadmont must have kept researchers from studying these inscriptions, that's all. I'm not sure what to tell you. I do know...
It's you. Years and years, and I never could find you. And here you are, back where it all began. Looking as if you haven't aged a day. My friend, what happened to you? So the stone did send you to the future after all. I had feared the worst. That day I tried to follow after you and return to our original time. But the stone's magic faded, and the doorway... I was trapped within Ebon Stadmont. For decades, I'd been studying this language and desperately searching for a way out. But my path would always lead me back here. But I did. I must stop myself from ever going back in time. I've been wasting my life within this cursed forest. The southern... Fletch! Ah!
I'm sorry, dear, but your role has been cut.
The temple. You must go back. Go through the temple. The southern stone. Bane away 10.
Thus the play continues. I'll see you soon.
Such an effort to escape me. I suppose I have what I need.
Well, I suppose it's curtain call. You finally figured it out. Well, and Derwin figured it out, didn't she? But hey, you put all the legwork in. And here you are. Ah, but did you kill me? Truly? Not even an accomplished healer could bring me back? And yes, I did take part in Derwin's final scene. And Derwin was the leading lady of our production. It was up to her to uncover the mysteries of Ebon Stadmont, to find the true potential of its hidden power. But she found a way to escape, and in her last breath told, sadly, yes. And so my part must end as well. I put on quite the performance, though, don't you think? The poor, confused soul, the dastardly villain, the mysterious. Yes, our heroine should be just outside, if I remember correctly. After so many times around, though, I tend to lose track. Well, no need to get into all of that. I told you the very first time we met. I'm Fletch. I used to be a mere actor, but now I serve a greater force. I've served her. What did Derwin call her? Ah, the Spirit of the Sanctum. An appropriate title as any. She rules over this forest. I think she'll... Don't bother asking me. Mostly because I have no idea. I would have died had the spirit not saved me. And it wasn't too bad. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I barely understand and I've lived through it. And it's done now in any case. You made sure of that. But I think the language here, of course. You see, it's all rather tricky. Only mortals are able to use the language. That's what allowed you to travel through time after all. Yes, all our heroine needed was the proper motivation. Yes, our...
You are? How did you get inside without me seeing you? We finally made it to the temple. Oh, I just can't wait to see what secrets are inside. The temple is a trap? What do you mean? A book? Why, this is my handwriting. I've been trapped within this forest for decades now. Trapped within the past. My face is something trying to... My goodness. This is all so hard. Yes, I agree. You've gone above and beyond. To think, this whole Yes, I agree. You've gone above and beyond protecting me. I suppose I did succeed in this expedition. The notes you've given me are written by my hand. I'm sure these notes will give me more details. The best thing to do now is share our... You know, it may be silly, but I suppose I came here to step out of his shadow. If I could be the one to crack Ebon Stadmont, Tellinger is the one who makes brash decisions and puts us all in danger, and I'm the one who helps fix it. Put aside all the strangeness. I suppose I did succeed.
Ebenstadt.
What is it?
Well, look.
Это же долгубон с Лейзи Иврит Критер.
closer. Don't be afraid. Another Come closer. Don't be afraid. Well, look what the sea washed ashore. Another visitor?
call that a crime? Well, I guess it is illegal. A reduction in personal wealth is your... I am in no mood to rampage.
Shake off.
Surrender and I'll devour you quickly. Rise, minions!
Всем спасибо за просмотр. Перерыв